Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and happy new year. It is 2024. I can't believe that it has been like, I don't know, a month almost actually since I last spoke to the camera, because last time I spoke to you guys I was in Germany. It was just before I got really sick. It was in my last vlogmas vlog that I did in Germany, our travel vlog. So that was, yeah, I think I last spoke to you on like the 9th of December and it's currently the 5th of January, so almost a month ago, which is insane. So yeah, as I said at the end of that vlog, I got really sick, and I actually didn't know when I put that vlog up how sick I was actually going to get. I got a really nasty virus and I was really ill for a couple of weeks. The virus turned into laryngitis and tonsillitis, and at the end of the 2 weeks I was like, okay, I hopefully start to feel a bit better now. It was, you know, just before Christmas. We were supposed to travel up to Scotland. We decided to go because I was like, I must start to get better soon. I'll just tuck myself up in the car and go to sleep. Then I developed pleurisy, which is a really nasty inflammation of the lining between your lungs and your rib cage, which can happen when you have like a nasty viral infection like I had. So it was not great. We turned up in Scotland and immediately had to go and see the doctor. We were this close to having to go to hospital and go to A&E, but luckily we managed to get a last minute appointment with the GP, which meant I didn't have to go to A&E because obviously all the GPs would have been closed. Like, we got there on the Friday, Christmas was on the Monday, so the GPs were literally closing in like half an hour after we arrived. So it was it was not the best, but by Christmas Day I was just starting to feel a little bit better, and by sort of the end of my week off I was feeling a lot better, and I am still feeling better now. I have still got a bit of a croaky voice, still got quite a lot of post-viral fatigue. You probably noticed that I'm actually wearing my glasses, which I don't normally wear in videos because I'm always worried about like the glare from the lights and stuff. But I'm very tired at the moment, so putting my contact lenses in is just not something that I am doing. So yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy few weeks. So we're coming to, today is Friday when I'm filming this, so when this goes up on Sunday. So yeah, it's been 4 weeks since I first got ill and I'm still not 100% better yet. So it has been fairly tough and fairly difficult. But as I say, I did manage to enjoy Christmas and I hope you guys did too. I'm sorry that the Vlogmas content just kind of didn't happen. There were 2 Vlogmases and that was it. Obviously I expected to do at least one more, but because I was so ill, all I was doing was I was in bed. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't even really well enough to knit half the time. I haven't sewn since November. So it just all feels a bit crazy at the moment. Like, yeah, just sort of, I think January will be a very slow and quiet starting to like get back to normal life. But yeah, I thought I'd start by telling you what I'm wearing actually, because this is one of the first jumpers I ever made for myself. I think it's the second jumper I made for myself. I made one that was from a pattern in a magazine that was really not very good, and then I made this, which is the Aosta by the Knit Pearl Girl by Sophie. It's a really great pattern for a beginner because it's in a chunky weight yarn, so it knits up really quickly. So if you're looking for a good beginner pattern, especially if maybe you are somebody that's knit flat and you want to learn how to knit in the round, this is a great beginner pattern for knitting in the round. But yeah, feeling very cozy. It's been absolutely horrific weather the whole way across Christmas. We had a huge storm came in, I think it was on the 27th of December, or was it the 26th? I think it might have been Boxing Day. I can't remember. No, I think it was, I can't remember when it was. Anyway, there was a big storm in Scotland. We had power cuts, we had flooding. Like, luckily where we were at the top of a hill, so it wasn't really a big issue. But yeah, like, we've come back to the Cotswolds as everywhere's flooded. It's been horrible weather all week, so it has been nice to just like cozy up to start the new year, like all cozy and relaxed at home with the candles and the fire, and you know, doing some knitting and catching up on some crafting, catching up with you guys. Also very excitingly, I launched my new Substack subscriptions, paid for subscriptions, which basically you get one post / article a week for the price of less than a coffee and cake a month. It's £5 a month, and it's all to do with handmade, homegrown and slow living. I will pop the link below, but if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that big launch that happened just a few days ago. It was on the Friday, so the day that I'm filming this, which will be 2 days from when you 2 days ago from when you watch this video. So yeah, do check that out if that's something that you are interested in. But yeah, I've got so many exciting plans for the new year. I'm really excited to get started. I have got a video coming out later in January with all of my plans and ideas and everything that I'm wanting to do this year, but I thought I would start off by showing you what I got for Christmas, because I got lots of lovely things for Christmas. I'm not going to show you everything because very kindly I got lots of lovely presents, quite a lot. You know, I have a big family on both sides, so there was lots of lovely things, including like a full set of bedding, towels, wallpaper, everything that we need to redecorate our bedroom, which we asked for, which all came from Russell's parents. So I'm obviously not going to show you that, but if you do follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see I'll probably post some pictures when we do the bedroom up. But I thought I would show you some of the books that I got, some of the crafty bits that I got, and yeah, like a good old-fashioned video. I remember when these used to be really popular when I first started watching YouTube back in, oh golly, I don't know, 2011 I think I first started watching YouTube, and everyone was doing their like hauls. That was like a big thing, which obviously isn't so great anymore for like sustainability reasons, but like yeah, people would always do like a what I got for Christmas, what I got for my birthday kind of thing. So yeah, I thought I would show you some of that, so maybe we should just dive in. I thought I would start, actually technically I didn't really get this for Christmas, this was like an advent gift to myself. But this year I ordered myself a advent yarn calendar, which is really exciting because I have never ever had a calendar other than just like a normal chocolate one, or even like a non-chocolate one with just pictures. When we were kids we didn't have chocolate ones, we had ones with pictures, and then as an adult I started to get chocolate ones off Russell's mum. She would send me one, which was really nice. So this year was like really exciting because it was completely different. I know lots of people get like tea advent calendars and things like that, so yeah, I really fancied a yarn one, and they are quite pricey. I did pay mine off in installments, and it is a real treat. I don't know if I'll be doing it again this year, but I'm so pleased I did do it in 2023. So I'm not really sure I can show you just all the yarn is in here. I might actually just pop up a picture, because I took a picture the other day of all of the yarn and the stitch markers. I got 6 stitch markers with it, and then obviously 24 yarns. I didn't opt for the full-size skein on Christmas Day. I just thought that, you know, I don't really need that. The colours are gorgeous. It was a Jane Eyre themed calendar, so I didn't read because I was so ill, so there was no chance I was going to be able to like concentrate and read, but I did watch the, I think, is it ITV or BBC? I can't remember. It's like the 2006 version of Jane Eyre. I think it's 2006. Maybe 2004. Sorry, I'm being completely useless. It's the one with Ruth Wilson playing Jane Eyre and Toby Stevens playing Mr. Rochester. Now, I'm not a Mr. Rochester fan. I am 100% Team Darcy. I feel like if you're Team Rochester, you should maybe talk to a therapist. Me and my friend were joking about this, that like the girls who fancy Rochester, you know, maybe you have some issues. But he is very nice in that, because I'm a big fan of Toby Stevens. Toby Stevens, not actually, to be fair, he has dark hair. He has, I think he dyed his hair for the Jane Eyre TV series, but he, I think, naturally normally has red hair, and that's, you know, I love red hair. So I have to say, I do like it. I think it's very well acted. It's a really good version. It's very well done. I think it's very similar to the book. I think Ruth Wilson plays Jane Eyre excellently. So yeah, I would recommend that 4-part series. But yeah, I watched that, which was really nice, because then all the yarns had different names that were like to do with the story, which obviously I know the story, I've read it a few times before, but it was just nice to sort of remind myself, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. it was really nice every day opening yarn. Before I went to Germany, I opened like double, and then when I got back I had to open a few, and then before we went to Scotland I had to open a couple early because I wasn't going to take the whole thing to Scotland. So there were a few days where I didn't open a yarn every day, but yeah, I absolutely love it. I think my plans with it at the moment, I'm planning to make a couple of cushions. So Laura from Penrose Knits has released a lovely pattern. I think it's called the Stella, is it the Stella? The Stella cushion pattern, which there's two slightly different patterns that come like within that, like designs, sorry, that come within that pattern. And I was hoping to make both of them for our sofa because we've been decorating our living room. We've painted it. I've made a curtain, which I showed in my last makes video. I'm making a blind soon. We've like painted the chairs. We've put up the picture. Like, we're getting really close to finishing now. So I'm hoping to make these cushions because a lot of the colours that came pick out the colours in the curtain and the blind, which I'm so pleased about. I was really hoping that would happen because the cushion covers have these different colours in. So that's the plan. And then I'm hoping to use some of the leftovers with some stuff in my stash to make a shawl, and then I think there will be some like quite a bit left over, like bits and bobs, different colours. So then I will either make a blanket possibly, or I might use some of it to make a cushion for the bedroom, you know, because we're redecorating the bedroom, as I said at the beginning of the video. And then it's quite helpful because it's sock yarn. I've got a lot of like odds and ends of sock yarn where actually I could do with a colour to do like the cuff, the toe and the heel. So I think that's my plan with that. It's basically going to get used in odds and ends and bits and bobs. I'm not doing like one project like a lot of people do with their advent calendars. My mother-in-law's making a gorgeous blanket with hers. I've seen people make the lovely faded shawls. I'm not doing anything like that. It's just going to be used in bits and bobs. At the moment I'm keeping it in the box. I haven't put it into my stash because I just think it's so beautiful and I don't really want to like put it in. I just want to keep it in its box for a bit. So it's just living in its box. It doesn't really have anywhere to go, this box, but it's just living in its box. But yeah, that's like my first thing that I sort of got for Christmas. I think maybe we should just go down the crafting route, and then I've got a load of books which I thought were quite interesting that you guys might want to see. So let's go down the crafting route. Ooh, I don't want anything to fall over. This is the first thing to show you, which I got off Santa, i.e. my husband. This was in my stocking. This was from Fiberworks in Chipping Norton, which is a gorgeous yarn shop if you're in the Cotswolds, in the north east Cotswolds in Oxfordshire. Definitely go to Fiberworks. It's a beautiful, beautiful shop. It sells loads of lovely stuff, but she also sells like other crafty bits. She has a bit of fabric, she has some like, you know, quilting supplies and bits and bobs, so it's quite useful. So my husband picked up this, which is a little kit to make this really cute pin cushion. It's felted and then you've got embroidery on top, so it's going to be really nice because I've been wanting to sort of learn embroidery, so this is going to be quite a good project to like teach me how to embroider, like hand embroidery. So I'm really actually quite excited to have a go with this because I think it's going to be like a nice little project just to sit and do one evening. You'll see in a few weeks when the video comes out that one of my plans this year is to learn some new crafts and some new skills, and embroidery is on there. So that will probably be my project to first start learning embroidery. And then the next two things are buttons. So let's start with these ones, which I might just take out of the plastic because otherwise it'll be a bit shiny I think on camera. So my mum got me these. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're these, oh, let's hope it focuses. Is it focusing? Yes. They're ceramic buttons by a local artist to her. Her name is Caroline Barnes, and they've got butterflies and flowers. I think that's like cow parsley, daisy, but they're just beautiful. They're just so gorgeous, and they're quite simple. Obviously there's quite, like, the butterfly's got quite a bit of blue in it, and one of the flowers has got blue in it, and there's green, so I think they'll go with quite a lot. So I think I'm probably going to put them on like an off-white cardigan. I've got some yarn in my stash for, I've got two actually projects probably that are like off-white, so I think these will be perfect with that. Or I guess if I decide to knit like a blue cardigan at some point and pick out the blue. That could be really pretty. So they're just going to go in my stash for a bit. It's quite nice just to have buttons. They're quite big and chunky as well, so I feel like they're going to need to go on a bit of a bigger cardigan that can sort of like take the weight, because they're a bit weighty. So yeah, pop them in my stash because it's quite nice to have a few things in the stash. And then I also got these buttons again off Santa, i.e. my husband, which I think were also from Fiberworks, and these are really cute, pretty little Rico buttons. They're wooden with little like floral designs just like printed onto them. And again, like they're mostly just pinks and like a dark purpley, so they'll be nice. I don't know whether I'll use them for knitting or whether I'll use them for sewing, but they'll just go in the stash again, because as I say, I try to pick up nice buttons when I see them. It's really lovely to have been gifted them, because it's really useful just to have them available when you like finish a blouse or a dress or a hand knitted cardigan or something, and you can just root through your stash and see what works. So I'm really pleased with those. Okay, my next thing, I don't know if I can really, like, I'm gonna get this out and make a big loud noise. Let me just, there we go, is a wool winder. Hurrah, hooray. I've been wanting a wool winder for absolutely ages, and I have been borrowing my sister-in-law's, which she lives in Scotland, so that doesn't really work. I just basically stole it for a few months. So I'm really pleased I've got one. They are just like the best when you have beautiful skeins, which I'm lucky enough to have quite often now. So yeah, really pleased with that. That will obviously last a lifetime probably. I think my mother-in-law got a yarn umbrella for Christmas and is like waxing lyrical about how amazing they are, so I think that will be the next purchase for winding yarn up. So yeah, really pleased with that. That was off my sister. I'm just gonna start making a little pile over here. Okay, and then the last crafting item was from Scottish Santa. So I had some presents from a different Santa from Scotland, i.e. my parents-in-law. And this was a knitting journal, which is really cool actually. If you open it up, you can see, so you can keep notes on your knitting. It's got like all different things, like the needle sizes and the yarn that you've used, and like if you liked the pattern, and so if you come back and you remake the project, or you need to know something about the project, which I thought is really cool. It's really helpful, especially if you're designing your own patterns. Like sometimes I make my own patterns up and stuff, or I change a pattern. So yeah, that's really cool. That's going to become very helpful, I'm sure. Now the next presents is just a massive stack of books. I am a big reader. If you have been following my Substack for a while, for 2023, when I was putting out my newsletter every month, you guys will know that I love to read. I often recommend a book that I've read. Okay, so this is the first book that I have to show you, which is The Language of Flowers, which I've been really interested in for a while, because it's obviously like a tradition from the Victorian times, that people would give flowers that had meaning, and people would literally like send messages via posies of flowers, which I just think is really cool, especially as a gardener. I grow flowers myself in my garden. I've only just started in the last couple of years, so I'm not like, I don't really know what I'm doing. But you know, I grow peonies, roses, cosmos, zinnias, dahlias, that kind of stuff, marigolds. So I thought it'd be really interesting. I also thought it'd be really interesting, like for my writing work as well, to see like seasonally, you know, what different flowers that come up mean. Like obviously snowdrops mean hope. That's like a common one that a lot of people know. So I thought that would be really interesting to know. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into that. I think it's all alphabetical, so I'm going to start having a look at the things that like you would expect to start seeing now. As I say, like aconites and snowdrops and things like that are going to start coming up, so that's going to be really interesting. These next two were from Santa, my husband Santa. He went to the second-hand bookshop. We're very lucky in Chipping Norton, where we live in the Cotswolds. There is an amazing set of charity shops. It's great whenever I go looking for fabric I use curtains and bed sheets and stuff sometimes as fabric. They always have a really good selection, but we also have an Oxfam bookstore that's really, really good. It has lots and lots of books. I mean, all the charity shops have lots of books, which is great, but this is just literally books, nothing else. So he went shopping there for me for my stocking, which is really lovely, and he picked up this gorgeous old copy of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, the other Bronte sister. I haven't actually ever read this, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, because I actually haven't read anything by Anne Bronte. I know that's really bad, isn't it? I've read Charlotte and Emily, but yeah, I'd be interested to read this because I think Anne is supposed to be a little bit lighter. Obviously Emily's like heavy, dark, and then Charlotte is a little bit lighter but also quite gothic and dark, so you have to be in the mood for it, I feel. But I think Anne is supposed to be a bit lighter, a bit more like, she's a bit more of a nature writer, so she wrote a lot about nature. So I'm quite interested to read this, but it's a beautiful copy. In the front it says, it's got somebody's name and it says 1935, so it's obviously a really beautiful old copy from like the early 30s, maybe the 20s. So that's really, really nice. He then also picked up this, which is another vintage book, which is Small Gardens and How to Make the Most of Them by Violet Biddle. And I think this one again, it says somewhere that it's like from the first published in 1911, and then I think this is a like second edition that came later in the 1920s. But yeah, it'd be really interesting to read that, just like some sort of historical gardening writing, because I do a bit of gardening writing myself, and obviously, as I say, I'm a big gardener, which I'll be showing more on my channel this year. So it'd be really interesting to read this and see, you know, like, I think this very much as well will be the beginning of like lawns, because lawns started to become like quite a big like, as in suburban homes and in like sort of smaller homes, not just in like big estates and things. So I think this will be a really interesting one to read. So along that theme, still going along that theme, you can tell there's been definite theme. It's like gardening and crafting. This is a book that my sister-in-law got me called Weeds, The Story of Outlaw Plants by Richard Mabey, which she picked up because she just thought it sounded really interesting, like something I would enjoy, which she's very right about, because I am a big fan of weeds. I'm just like, it's just a plant, it's just a flower that someone's decided they don't want in that place. I think it's utterly ridiculous. So I leave a lot of my weeds. I would happily have a lawn covered in dandelions and daisies and all that stuff. So it'll be really, really interesting to, oh, almost dropped it, to read this book and find out a little bit more about the history of weeds and why we've sort of decided that we can't have these plants, and some of the benefits of having them and all that kind of stuff, because a lot of weeds as well are actually can be used like medicinally. So like dandelion flowers are really lovely, really delicious, really good for you, and also dandelion root in the winter, it's like a tuber that you can eat like a potato. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to read that book. And then I got this gorgeous book, which was a present from my parents-in-law, which is called The Art of Gifting Naturally. I did actually ask for this because I saw it when I was in Burford Garden Centre. If you ever come to this area or you're local, Burford Garden Centre Bookshop, which is actually separate, it's actually outside of the garden centre, it's its whole own shop, is amazing. It is so good for anything to do with like nature, slow living, gardening, cooking, any of that kind of stuff that falls into those categories. There's a little bit of architecture, art, really good non-fiction bookshop. There is a huge section as you go in. The whole first room is just gardening and nature, which is just like an absolute dream. So I saw this and I just fell in love with it because it's just a beautiful book of handmade gifts, things like soaps, bath salts, candles, infusions, teas, all this lovely, lovely stuff. And I firstly want to make them for myself. That's one of my goals this year, as I was saying, to learn more skills. Some of them are things like making my own candles, making my own soap, etc. But my thought is that if I make them well enough, that they'll make really nice gifts for other people. Because I'm just wanting to be, I have for the last however many years, I can't remember, been quite conscientious about where I buy my presents and what I buy for Christmas and birthdays and things like that. I always try to buy from small local businesses at Christmas as much as possible, try to avoid Amazon as much as possible and give money to my small local businesses. I try to buy things that are, you know, made of wood rather than plastic, or, you know, sustainable, useful, all that kind of stuff. I try not to buy things that, like, I know someone won't want, if that makes sense. So I'll buy something that they've maybe put on a list, or something that I know they've specifically asked for, so it's actually something that they want, so we're not over consuming. And I think part of this over the next few years is also going to be coming to a point of like making things, edible things or useful things, things like soaps, candles that you can use and then they're, you know, you've used them, they're gone. As I say, edible things like chutneys, jams, syrups, etc. I think I want to sort of move into more of that vein, because I do feel like things have got a bit crazy with the levels of consumption at Christmas, and I think when I start to have my own family in particular, you know, if we have our own children and stuff, I would like it that Christmas was a bit more toned down, a bit less toys and plastic and craziness, and a bit more handmade. Oh, that was quite a big like tangent with a lot of like political statement almost there. Sorry guys, not as light-hearted as we normally have, although I'm not sorry really, because, you know, we should talk about this stuff more. Anyway, this book is just beautiful. It's just filled with the most beautiful photography and all these ideas, so I'm really excited to have a go at this. So yeah, this is one of my favourite presents I think that I got this year. Okay, and then my next book I have actually already read. This was also a gift from my parents-in-law, and I was really excited to get this and read this, so I started reading it on Christmas Day. I have a bath every night and I read every night before bed, so on Christmas Day I went up for my bath and I started reading this, and I finished it on the day before New Year's Eve. To be fair, it's a very quick read because it's like lots of photography and stuff. It's not a particularly long read. It is The Cottage Life by Tiffany Francis. Now, I'm a huge fan of Tiffany Francis. I read her narrative non-fiction book, her first one, which I cannot remember the name of. Dark Skies, I think maybe it's called. It's to do with the night sky. Really beautiful book. I'm really excited to read her new book that just came out, The Bridal Path, I think it's called, or The Bridal Way, which is about Britain's like horse history, which is fascinating. She's a really interesting nature writer. She writes a lot of different books, but she writes a lot of different like genres of books. So she's written, you know, like small little how-to guides on beekeeping and keeping goats, and she's written foraging guides, and then she's written like multimedia books like this where it's, you know, a big hardback full of photography, and then she's written narrative non-fiction books. So I find her work very interesting. She's a very interesting writer to follow as a fellow writer and creator. She's also an illustrator. She does most beautiful illustrations. So yeah, I was really excited to read this book, The Cottage Life, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. But it's just a lovely, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's fairly basic if you are somebody who has been sort of like living a kind of homesteader style life, or you know, that kind of handmade, homegrown, slow, like I do, kind of life for a while now. You probably will know most of this stuff, but it's great for somebody who's just starting to get into slow living, or who's thinking about that kind of stuff. It's obviously very much written for the like mass market of cottagecore that's very popular at the moment, but I did think it was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, there's that one. Sorry, the light's changing, so the sun's coming out for like the first time all week, so apologies if it's getting really glary. I then got this, which is the River Cottage Handbook #2. So I want to start collecting the River Cottage handbooks. I don't want all of them because I'm like not particularly interested in, for example, the fish book, because I don't really eat fish. So obviously just collect the ones that I actually want and use. And this one was very high on my list. This is preserves, because this is something that I really want to learn how to do. Firstly, because we grow our own fruit and veg in the spring and summer, but not in the in the autumn winter. We don't really have enough space, although this year I am going to attempt to grow some autumn veg, but we just don't really have the space to go into winter. We're going to see if we can do some like vertical planting to make a bit more space for us. We'll have to see how that goes, but yeah, we don't have a huge amount of space, so it's nice to preserve some of the stuff that we have in the summer. We often get big gluts of courgettes or raspberries, or not so much strawberries, although this year hopefully we even, you know, we had a cucumber plant one year and we had quite a lot of cucumbers. So it's things like that, you know, pickling food. I need to eat more pickled food. I'm having some treatment at the moment for my gut, and I've been encouraged to eat more pickled food, so like pickled cucumbers and things like that would be really, really good. Courgette chutneys, you know, just so that you can enjoy your homegrown produce later on in the year. It's something that I really want to learn to do. Again, that's on my list of the 12 skills that I want to learn this year, is like preserving and pickling. So I am really excited for this because it uses, I think it's like herbs and like the fruit and veg and what else does it say? Yeah, fruit, veg, herbs basically. So like infusing oils and all this different kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. This will definitely be one I'll read soon. I think the beginning is all about like how, like the basics, and then there's a bunch of recipes. So yeah, that's really nice to get my first River Cottage handbook, and then hopefully there will be more to come in later life. Okay, my final book is this book, A Modern Herbal by Alice. Oh, you can't even see that, it's so bright. Can you see that now? Yeah. A Modern Herbal by Alice Fowler. Now I have read a book by Alice Fowler. I've read a couple of books by Alice Fowler. She's a garden writer, but I think she also wrote a book on, I think this was her. Probably check this really. She wrote a narrative non-fiction book about kayaking in Birmingham along the canals for like a year, and it was really interesting. It was such a good book. I absolutely love that. But I really like her gardening book, and this is a plant-based medicine for a calmer, healthier life. And this again is another one of my 12 skills this year. I want to grow a medicinal garden, and I want to have a go at using herbs and flowers and things like that medicinally. So, you know, simple things to begin with at the moment, like peppermint for digestion, because I have digestive issues, which is why I'm having treatment for my gut. So peppermint for digestion. I already currently use lavender and chamomile, like essential oils and things for helping with sleep. You know, I'm hoping that when I start making my own soap and things, I can put different essential oils in for using soap at different times. So for example, if you use it in the morning, I'd probably put, you know, citrus in to like wake up, and in the evening I put chamomile and lavender and that kind of thing. Be interesting to start having a go at making creams and balms and all that kind of stuff. So I'm so excited for this book. I'm really looking forward to going through it, reading it. I'm obviously not going to grow like absolutely everything in the world, and a lot of things as well can be foraged. So come March every year I forage nettles, because you want to forage them when they're it's like early spring, when they're really fresh, and they're really great for boosting the immune system, and they're absolutely full to the brim with all sorts of different nutrients and vitamins. They're great for when you're on your period, they're great for postpartum bleeding. They're like, nettles have so many amazing qualities, but things like that obviously you can forage. So there's a lot of things in there that I can probably forage, which I do forage quite a lot because we live near like a place where it's easy to do so. But I'm hoping to grow this medicinal garden. Just to let you know, I will be documenting all of this, and as I say, I'll go into this much more in my video in a couple of weeks where I'm talking about my plans for the new year. I will be documenting a lot of this, and I'll be documenting a lot of this on both this channel, my Instagram, and also my Substack, my new launch on Substack. So if this is something you're interested in, as I say, it's very much handmade, homegrown, slow living, all of that stuff is going to be in my Substack. So check out the link, check out the article that went out on Friday with more information about what you can expect from my Substack, because that might be something that you're really interested in getting involved with this year, signing up, learning about all of those different things. So I will definitely put that in the description for you. so that is it. That is everything that I got for Christmas this year. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It's so nice to be back chatting to you guys. Apologies if my glasses have been really glary and also my voice is going like in and out with this virus that still hasn't left me yet. But excitingly, I have got videos coming out every single week in January. I'm hoping to keep that up all year, so we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping to start doing a weekly video rather than about like every other week like I've been doing in the past. So yeah, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because there's so many exciting wonderful things coming, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And yeah, leave me a comment, let me know what you got for Christmas. Did you guys get anything? Like, I wonder if some people got some of the same books as me. It'd be really interesting actually, because some of them came out this year and they were like quite big books. And if you got an advent calendar, which one did you get? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, I'll speak to you next time, guys. Thanks, bye.